Previously on Max Verstappen and the Next Generation, Max finishes off the Formula 3 championship.
The Verstappen, if it's yours or Max, they keep amazing you every day.
He's coping with the pressure, with the people around. It's good.
He's 17, but he's my boy.
And now Max is preparing his body for Formula 1.
He's young, no question about it. So that's the first big box you've got to look at and say, is it too early?
He's not lazy, he wants to work, he wants to win. This is very important.
I think they are preparing me well. It's hard, but it should be like that.
In the Red Bull Diagnostics and Training Centre in Thalgau, Austria, Max has to prepare for his first Formula 1 season in 2015. His fitness has to be closely monitored so his trainer can put together the perfect tailored workout for Max. But first, Max gets to relax as they measure his resting heart rate.
Well, the last few weeks have been really busy, but I mean, it's a part of it, so you just deal with it, and it's good that you have some relaxed time sometimes. It's okay.
First we test them, that we have a lot of information, so it takes 4 or 5 days. And we test all the areas, what's the basic areas of endurance, from the static part, this is part of the physiotherapists. And from the psychology side, it's also a couple of hours of testing where we try to find out the basic functions and some in specific parts, how is the level now.
The preparations to improve his endurance are already well underway.
Running, cycling as well, just like endurance training really. And for sure some strength exercises are coming up as well. So I think they are preparing me well. It's hard, but it should be like that.
With the blood taken from his ear, the sports scientist can measure how Max's body is reacting to the physical strain.
If you have testing days of 3, 4, 5 days, and the driver have to sit in the car for hours, you need a fit driver, because if he's tired after 2 hours and he cannot give you feedback that they know what they need to change or what's going on with the car. So you need their fit drivers and then it works to develop the car much better.
At the end of the test, Max is pushed to the limit one more time. And the scientists are closely monitoring his heart rate and blood oxygen levels.
It's good. That's how you get better. Yeah. I know some people, they go above 200. It's mainly like your upper body and your neck. It's quite challenging, and I think that's also, here, it's a race of 1.5, 2 hours, so I think like the endurance training is really important. And then you just need to be physically strong enough, that you don't have any problems while you're racing, because once you have problems when you're racing, your focus goes to other parts where it shouldn't be. And, to have a crash is just coming closer and closer. So it's really important that you're fit enough to do a race like that.
He's not lazy, he wants to work, he wants to win. This is very important. And I think this is what you need for the future.
Max's dad, Jos, believes in his son's talent, but how do other drivers judge his early step into the Formula 1 world?
He's young, no question about it. So that's the first big box you've got to look at and say, is it too early? I think ultimately we will only find out in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, Max is obviously was big news in the paddock, and yeah, he's obviously very young. That's what all the talk's about, and if he's ready. And it's not really something for me to answer. I think all I can say is at 17, because people ask me, were you ready at 17? And I said, me personally, no. My path has been a bit different to Max's, and I simply wasn't. But he's won World Championship in karting, and he's doing very well in Formula 3, so he has fast-tracked it all, but it's now up for him to answer, you know, the questions everyone's asking.
I think he's a young driver, and I think this is how also I entered the Formula 1, being a young driver, and I think that's good, interesting move for the sport, and we will see now. It all depends on how it's going to go for him. So that's about it.
I mean, ultimately, it's on Max. I hear good things about him. You know, the talent is not really a question. It's also whether he can deal with all the other things that come with it. You know, the travel, the media, the engineering side of the sport, and all those type of things.
Max has one more race as a junior driver, the Macau Grand Prix. It's one of the most challenging circuits in the world and has been won by legends such as Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna and David Coulthard. It's not part of the Formula 3 calendar, it's a special one-off invite-only race. And it will be Max's final race before F1.
I already made that decision in the beginning of the year to do that, because I think it's just a great experience as well. And yeah, I mean, once I was there and I did the first practice, it's just crazy. The track is so good to drive. You enjoy every lap, and of course it's dangerous, but on the other hand, it's so challenging as well.
The street circuit is famous for causing chaos, and a crash in qualifying means Max starts from the back of the grid in 24th place. And another huge crash dominates the start of the race itself.
It was a shame we had the safety car start in the second start, but yeah, the first start I went from 24 to 14 already before the first corner, so I still had a good chance to finish top 5. But then we had like the mega crash in the second corner, so everything was a bit mixed up. I had a damaged car for the second start, like my floor was not working properly, and I still had some damage on the rear suspension. But then still doing the fastest lap, and you know, from 24 to 7 with the safety car start, I think we did a great job.
Max finishes his last junior race in 7th and with the fastest lap. And although excitement lays ahead of him, Max is sad to leave Macau behind.
Yeah, when I finished like the last race, when I got the checkered flag, I was really disappointed that the weekend was over, really. So yeah, I hope I can go back next year, but I don't think I can. Because you know, when you speak to F1 drivers, they still want to do it. So maybe we should make something like that we are racing all together in one season.
Next time on Max Verstappen, The Next Generation, Max goes back to his roots.
We are in Genk in Belgium, you know, where it all started for me.
On this place is where he started, actually on this small track here on the left-hand side.
If a small boy comes now, you can see then how he sits in the car and how he handles the car. You know? That's amazing.